I'm gonna use these few minutes of quietness because I'm not letting any new people. It's after 4, but the public hour is open till 5 today. So, but there's nobody else here. You can see I'll just do a quick turnaround. Not a lot of public is still here, but I thought I'd use this few couple seconds to talk about this before I talk about other stuff in other videos. So, because here's me talking about my stuff again. This was I would say, an interesting setup. We got here Thursday about 4 in the afternoon, and getting the boxes here on top of this AstroTurf was a little tough because the wheels and the dollies didn't work well on the AstroTurf, but we eventually got everything over here. But I was already tired from doing that, so I decided to really take my time putting this thing together. So between 5 and dinner, 5 p.m. and then dinner and then talking to people and whatever, I didn't really have the layout itself together until about 9 or 10. I think we left around 9. So 4 hours to get the structure done. And I was really just dragging my butt because I was tired. And then I was also pausing to try to program the rails at the same time. So the rails, all of the rails now are controlled by, let's move this, by those 2 RCXs. Basically, besides the lighting, this entire layout is controlled by those 2 RCXs. So there's 5 loops, including the train track at the bottom. And there's 1 door mechanism, which is not publicly, but you know, you've seen it before. You press the button and the door goes up. So I'm gonna work on that, but it's still working. So so the RCXs, all 6 output ports, each the 3 on each RCX is working to do something. So, and all the wires back here, I'm not liking that at all, but I'll come up with a solution for the next show. But those are from this show, because this top loop here, I just finished putting copper on it a day before I was to pack up and come here. So I didn't actually consider, but I didn't know, I wanted to see it first to see how I was going to run the wire from this top loop down to the RCX, and right now they're just kind of hanging there. So I'm going to work on that. A few other things of note. All loops are programmed to stop at the various stations. Well, there's no station for this guy, but he'll stop there every time. So this guy, he'll go over here. I'm giving you some music. Stops right there. So he has 3 stops there behind the tower and over here at the habitat. This guy has 4 stops, and since he's brand new, it took me the longest to program him today. So he'll stop there at the habitat. Sometimes I think I should make the delay shorter, but then I think about my motors and I don't want to wear them out so much. So I think it's 5 or 7 seconds. And he'll come up here, he'll stop here. It's kind of a stupid place to stop because it is technically supposed to be letting people off the train or the monorail, but it's on a slope, so I don't know. Anyway, I'll figure something out. And then it'll go around. When it crosses this light stream, it resets itself. The problem is that the light stream goes across both, but I got that worked out. And of course, he stops over there at the tower transfer station, the tower monorail platform. So this is all brand new this morning with the programming, and then he'll come back down here and he'll stop again inside the station, and then it'll go back over here and stop again. So that's 4 stops for that guy. Not happy stopping on the slope. That's kind of a, if we want to go into it, I'm going to go into it because I can. This monorail station, I can't even speak right now. This monorail station was built when the idea of it was built when I had a bigger layout. When I had the layout going out this way. And so this front track closest to this window was straight across the bottom and the loop this way to come out to the rest of the layout that was over here on this side. Well, I removed this part of the layout, and so in order to get this monorail track from this height to this height, I had to put the ramp in exactly the same spot as the one behind it. So it was only supposed to have one stop. The cafe was supposed to be just on the other side, and the monorail would be just on this side, flat. And of course, that ramp would still be in here, which is fine. But it was supposed to come out straight and then curve out here. It is what it is. I like it this way. It's a little more compressed. But it does stop, and so everything stops. The train itself doesn't seem to want to stop in the right spots. I'm not really worried about it. Every loop does have a light sensor, like this one, and light shining into it. You got this one here for the main loop, and you got that one there. And of course, I showed you the monorail light sensor over there. So every loop has a light sensor. That goes back to the RCX, which is what all that wiring is for, that's on the back. So I have to figure out how to get that wiring hidden. And I have some ideas, and absolutely will be able to work on it. So all that mess of wire there won't be there, and all that mess of wire will not be there. These wires over here is just for the train track and the main monorail loop. Those two wires over there are for that top monorail loop. So I just have to hide those wires. That one little black wire there is just for the touch switch for the door. I just want to put it somewhere. Sorry, let's go back over here. I added the Brickomania brick, because this is, this is a world tour of this layout, where it's been ish for people who have bricks. I did a lot of other shows with this, but they don't have those bricks. And the other thing that's been going over exceptionally well is my buddy Pete's video of the layout that we did in his studio. I've been running it all day on that screen. Usually this is closed, as we saw at the beginning. And people have been standing here, like a whole bunch of people. Go ahead. Been standing here watching that video. That's been fantastic. Other than that, I put a lot more detail, because all day yesterday, I was able to just keep on, quote unquote, enhancing the layout, putting minifigs. This is a little more busy than I normally like, but I love those sets, so I have no problem that they're out there. The all-terrain vehicle has to be there, obviously. There are more people on the layout, but they all look like they're doing something. The one thing that was slightly irksome, and it was this morning, and I can't figure it out now, because of course the entire layout's together, is that this layer right here, all the lighting just went out this morning. So one Lifelight's brick is either dead or disconnected. And what happened was that this window here fell open, and I went to push it back up, and the second I pushed it back up, the lights went out. So I'm thinking that the light brick, the Lifelight's brick is underneath there, and it's one of the oldest spots in the entire layout. And I'm sure either the wire's pinched or I did something. So that one layer will not be lit up during lights out tonight. So c'est la vie. Other than that, and I did a lot more of this. I think this is kind of cool. These guys are flying around. There's one there, there's one there, there's one up there. I started making things a lot more flying around, just because I thought it was cool. I went to, Pick a Brick on the wall in Sherway Gardens a couple months back. They had those little struts, those clear struts. So I grabbed a bunch, and I thought I was going to use them. I want to use a lot more, but I didn't want to overwhelm it with stuff that's kind of hanging. But overall, it's kind of neat to see that. What else was there? The lighting, the light stanchions, again, fantastic. So happy with the light stanchions. We'll see how they work during lights out. But that was so easy to set up. Absolutely easy to set up. The two here, absolutely easy. Oh, so in this, sorry. The one thing that didn't work out of the box, this guy is working, as you can see. This guy is not working, and I don't have time to fix it. So here's Benny walking towards it to fix it. So this area right now is only gonna be lit by that guy. I have no idea how that's gonna look, but during lights out. But That's fine. In each and every life, each and every life, a little rain must fall. Power center, fantastic. I'm talking to town. People are talking about it. It's working out fantastically well. The RCX is controlling everything. I was a little bit trepidatious yesterday and the day before when I was setting up because I was having a really tough time with the timing and the programming on the fly. And then I had wished that I had brought train controllers with me because I removed all the train controllers from that, because you might remember the old videos when that thing was just full of train controllers. I removed them all, they're all sitting at home. Train controllers makes this a lot easier because you just plug in the train controller, set it, and you walk away. And then the things just keep on going around until you turn it off. I wanted the programmability of stopping the trains at all the stations. And so I didn't mind putting the quote-unquote extra effort into the RC axis, but I was getting a little frustrated by the timing and blah, blah, blah. The one thing I'm going to put in this video, because I'm going to watch it later and remember, that corner or the train track, I have to rebuild because the train always stops. If it's not going fast enough, it dies right on that corner, and you'll probably see that when it picks up again. You'll see the lights flicker, and I don't know why, because the train rails themselves are powered, but somehow the wheels are not touching the. So I don't know if you saw that. So it's going fast enough to skip over the gap, and I find that to be so infuriating, and that was one of my big frustrations yesterday. So I have to rebuild that entire corner, which means I basically have to take apart the entire rocket platform because that corner of train track is built into the circle. So that'll be fun, and I'll get it done for the next show. So that was a huge pain point. I created wires on the fly, like all these 3 wires here. I created while I was at the show yesterday. I have my whole kit of the little screwdriver and the wire and everything behind there. So I was creating wires on the fly for this layout. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start making custom lengths. So it's just one wire going from the touch switch back to there, one wire going from the light sensor back there, instead of having all these little plugs up here, these little 9-volt connectors laying around. Just one wire going back to the control center, instead of stringing together multiple wires to get to where you have to go. And those 4, let's get over here. These 4 connectors, of course, there's 2 light sensors and there's 2 power pickups for the monorail. So those are all right there. I'm going to color code them better and have a little bit of a pigtail of wires that can go back there. That's always ready to go, because that was a bit, I was trying to, they were already put there and I couldn't figure out which wires were what when I got back over there. So I'm going to get that all straightened out too. So the wiring is a little bit of an issue, not a huge issue. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It's going relatively well. But in the end, I want it to go a lot smoother. And as I say, for other shows that do not have a lights out, I don't have to worry about the lighting at all. And therefore, I don't have to do a lot of this stuff because most of the efforts was putting into the lighting. And I want to make the connectors to the rails and the sensors a lot easier to set up, because that did take some time. So those are my takeaways from the show. Other than that, for me, this show has been utterly fantastic. I really, really love the organizers of this event, Bricomanie out here in Laval, Quebec, next to Montreal. They've been very, very courteous and considerate and appreciative. I just love it. And the actual show, there's a lot of really good stuff here to see, a lot of really good mocks, very well done mocks, a lot of unique things that I haven't seen in other shows. And they have wide aisles here because we're in a huge sports complex. It's actually a soccer field, or 3 soccer fields. And I don't feel claustrophobic at all. And look how high the ceiling is. It goes way up there. So I'm very, very happy that we're here. And then so when the crowds were here at the beginning in the morning and there's lots of people, it didn't feel like it was packed. Like there's like at least 40, 50 people around this thing in the morning, and I didn't feel claustrophobic about it. So the older I get, that's important. So anyway, that's 14 minutes talking about my layout again. I'm going to be hopefully not talking about it again. I'm going to start walking around and filming other things in the show. I hope you guys like this quick video, 15 minutes. And I will, as always, I'll talk to you guys soon.